Hello, today we'll find out about Xuanzang, or who is known as Xuanzang, and also his prayer journey. In the journey to the west, four people, Xuanzang and his three disciples, had to overcome many challenges to reach Xitian seeking the Zhangjiang Jin. Many people still think that these characters were fictional, but in reality, Teng Zhangjiang is a real person existing in Chinese history. So who is she? First, let's figure it out. Xuanzang was born in 602 in a rich and prestigious Mandarin family. However, his father got bored with the paltry Mandarins, so he left the office and returned to his hometown for teaching. At that time, Buddhism was extremely prosperous. Zhongzhu's brother also took refuge from a very young age. He sometimes preached to Xuanzang and made this boy decide to follow his step as well. At the age of 13, Xuanzang stayed at the pagoda and took refuge. People at the pagoda still hesitated because he was still young, but after that, they finally accepted him because of his extreme sincerity and intelligence. He then learned all kinds of prayers and studied till forget to eat and sleep. There was a period of time the country fell into chaos, and the two brothers Xuanzang had to find shelter in another pagoda. At this place, he took advantage to study all of the prayers of other denominations. Until 20 years old, when his hometown was stable, he came back to Chang'an and started to study Buddhism for the next 7 years. The deeper he studied, the more contradictory he realized. Then he came up with the idea of finding out Buddhism's origin for a better understanding of it. And that is India. Xuanzang offered to ask the king for permission to study abroad in India. The journey to the west wrote that the emperor of the Tang dynasty accepted Xuanzang as a brother and asked him to seek prayers, and allowed him to take the surname Tang. However, this wasn't true because, in reality, the emperor didn't allow him to do so. 2 years later, the natural disaster was too tremendous and serious. Therefore, the court had no way to support people anymore and let them search for a living themselves outside the country. On that occasion, Xuanzang followed these people to the west. The first stage in his journey was finding a way to cross over the border, but it wasn't easy. He had to hide and hide, found a way to escape the sentry of the border guard team. Because of the harsh terrain, there were some part of the group of people who returned or died. The first disciple of Xuanzang was an indigenous person. At first, this guy asked to follow Xuanzang because of admiring his will. After that, he realized the hard situation along the way. He turned around and planned to tell his master. But finally, this guy just ran away. Xuanzang and his horse were arrested at the station, but luckily, the head of the station was a Buddhist devotee. He admired the will of Xuanzang, therefore he supported food and wrote a passport for him to pass over the other station conveniently. Finally, he successfully crossed the border. However, things that were waiting for him ahead were immense beaches and deserts. After 9 days of passing over many sand hills, he was starving and lost the way that he nearly ended his life forever. But with his profound will, he finally reached the first stopover station. The king in this land very respected him. He begged and threatened to ask him to stay for delivering Buddhism. However, nothing could stop him at all. He stayed there for a month for delivering Buddhism. The day he departed, people and even the king all saw Xuanzang out. From that, his reputation was none wider, so his journey was much easier than before. Wherever he went, he could be welcomed there. He continued to travel through 24 Central Asian countries. Along the way, he made many good relationships. All the king in places where he stopped to take a rest also supported Xuanzang to the best. In the last road, Xuanzang went to the southeast, to the Himalayas mountain with countless dangerous obstacles. He finally struggled to reach the Himalayas mountain. After 2 years on a journey of thousands of miles, he finally reached India and made his dream come true. Surprisingly, Xuanzang came to India for seeking prayers but also gained a lot of merits, helping native people to unify Buddhism. Because of that, the king and his people were all very grateful to him. 2 years later, in 645, Xuanzang officially approached Chang'an citadel. Waiting for him was a solemn welcome from the court and all people. He brought back to China a huge volume of scriptures and many precious Buddha statues. From then on, people later worshipped him as a holy monk. And that is the end of his demanding prayer journey with a prize success. He started the journey at the age of 33, through a distance of 10,000 kilometers, and came back to his hometown after 17 years. He also became an inspiration for the journey to the West later. He's a typical example of a beautiful personality, making people later entirely admire and worship him. Thanks for watching the video. Goodbye and see you later.